Oh yeah. That is gonna be just the right amount of monster truck.
Hi guys, I decided to play in the snow instead of helping Dad this week.
I hope you guys don't mind, but we had a big snowstorm. It's the end of winter. We've got 40 degrees consistently coming in for this week, so, you know, kids will be kids. You gotta let them enjoy while they still fit in snowbanks, right?
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's see if we can get a rear axle in this thing. So, as you can see right now, I've got it mocked up, and that jacked the body quite a bit just to fit that 20-inch tire. We want to fit 22-inch ATV tires in the future on this thing, so we're going to drop that rear end a good solid 4 inches or so, which is going to jack this whole rig significantly. But I think in the end, it'll look okay. This is the transmission we're going to be using in order to do this. This is an F&R. This one, because it's green, I can tell that it came out of a Yardman with the yellow bug hood. But these are primarily in the Troy-built Bronco 2s from like Tractor Supply and Home Depot and stuff like that. This is the reinforced one, which is why we're using it. It has this mount for the Vari-Drive on the rear, which shows that this is the 3rd generation one and the strongest that was made. Again, these aren't very strong, but this is the strongest version that was made so far. Now, we did an independent video on mounting up the go-kart F&R transmission after we ended up finding that there just was no video on how to do it the way that they were designed to be done. So we made that video. A lot of you reached out asking for a template for welding it up, because these use a really awkward mount system. I'm working on a 3D printer template that will work for doing this for in the future. Right now, I currently finished off the engine mounting template. So this is as if you're looking down on the engine. You just plant this where you want to mount the engine and punch where the holes are in order to drill out for your engine mount. And then if you're worried about where the shaft goes, it is made so that you just set it down and then flip it over and it shows how far out the shaft would stick. These right here are so that you can know exactly where the oil out is on both sides. But anyways, I will post up a link for 2 of these, one of which will be my first version of this that'll be for free. The other one will be a $1 version that is this reinforced version that's a lot stronger and a lot more durable. There's a very fine line between dumb lifted mall crawler and sexy lifted. So this is the plate that was originally on the front of the transmission, but is going to end up becoming the top of our rear end that we're setting up. And from the top of this plate to where the axle is about 9 inches, right about here. So what that puts us at is that if I take this plate and I mount it here, then that's going to drop us to here, which is roughly about 5.5 inches worth of lift. And I think at that point, we're hitting mall crawler dumb look. So I think what we're going to do is I think we're going to flip the plate, and I think we're going to put it in the upper part of this section of frame rail here. As much as I'm going to hate myself every time I have to do those 2 bolts, I think that puts us at the 4 inches we had originally set that we wanted, and it should look a lot better. Let's talk welding helmet options. Today we're going to be using this Vevor helmet that just came in. It's an in-between market helmet. So this is a solar only helmet, and I love this thing for outdoor use. It's about $35. The Vevor, on the other hand, is the next step up from that. It has some comfort built in, it's got a lot more adjustability built into it, but it doesn't have the shielding that the next level up would have. So this is in the $70 range. And then in the $100 range, we have this HITBOX that I absolutely love. Both of these are True View helmets. As you can see, the HITBOX and I have done a lot of work together, and it's been through a few things. Now, comfort-wise, you get what you pay for. The HITBOX is nice, adjustable, extra removable pads. The Vevor is rubbery, grab your hair pad on the rear. It does have a removable, cleanable front pad. Oops. And there we go, indestructible. And then we've got our tried and true, and this thing just is what it is. This is get the job done farmer's welder helmet. Now, you can do tons with this. I do almost all my projects with this solar-based helmet. But if you're looking for an entry-level next step up, this is what we'll be working with today. You can see that true view through it. It's really amazing. See that? Versus that. So $35, jump up another $35, you're into this. Jump up another $20, and you're into this HITBOX. And I really do recommend these. But helmets like this really only do you good if you're welding indoors. Yep, we need to try the grinder setting because that's too sensitive. Okay, so we'll set it to grinding. Oh yeah, that worked great for grinding. I don't usually set anything to the grinder setting because then I forget and then I get... Yeah. So I've got it set for 12. And I would say that 12 is a little bit on the light side of what it is for most welding helmets. So I'm going to set it to 13 and just leave it there. But it's definitely more than good enough to do what we're doing today. Here's a tech tip I actually got from a viewer on the channel. If you have one of these that is, you know, past its prime or whatever, it's the right size to go in there in order to punch these out when they're all rusted in. I just thought that was a cool little tip. So I'm going to punch both of these out, put some anti-seize on them. It's just something I do with every single transmission. Almost always, people will say that they kind of work, and it'll be exactly like this one. That one fell out perfectly. This one seized in. Kind of works. This is beyond rigged together, but remember the point of this was to just solid mount it, test it, make sure the Jeep steering U-joints and everything will take it, and then do the suspension in the rear. As it is right now, I grabbed a couple of pieces of angle iron, brought it down. We've got a triangle here, so it's got pulling strength coming down. We've done similar to this. We did this on the go-kart build using an MTD last summer. And we'll be working on that build more this summer to make it a little bit faster. This is the original plate out of the tractor. Now, in all honesty, I probably would have been better off to just mark this out, put a flat piece across here, and go from there. I was trying to be lazy and save time, and instead it actually probably costed me time in the end. I had to cut this thing about 3 separate times to make it fit. Was not worth it in the end. Should have just made a piece that went across here, drilled some holes, called it good. Lazy doesn't always save you time. We've got our brake in here. We've got it set up as a pull brake going in this direction. These brakes are really, really strong on these MTD transaxles, so I have no issue whatsoever with the idea that just putting a cable to here and pulling straight up through this hole should work perfectly fine. At this point, we're going to clean these axles off, stuff some tires on, stuff the body on. Oh yeah. That is going to be just the right amount of monster truck. Let's come around to the front and take a look here now that we got the engine sitting on a 2x4. So now what we've got to do is from here in the next video, we need to drop from this down to a jack shaft that's going to go right through there. So the transmission input is about right here on that board back there. And that's our goal, is to hit that with the Jeep steering column adapter.